All right, welcome to Peeps Creek, the cafe where we serve you delightful, slightly intense, but definitely worthwhile conversations. A podcast focused on bringing people together by drinking, listening, and conversing. So grab your favorite drink and let's see what's on today's menu. All right, people, welcome to Peeps Creek, the cafe. You are on episode 59. Episode 59 is Fade into the Black. You know, here at the cafe, we always have a conversation centered around the drink. And today I am drinking on my usual, that is some bourbon, boom, 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 with a little ginger ale up in there. And then I also have my trusty cup with my trusty H2O in there. All right, so today I am joined by a special guest. That special guest is way down there in that state that's trying to get rid of every book available. That is Florida. And my guest is Michel. Say hello, Michel.
Hey everyone, how are you?
All right, Michel. So we already said that you are in Florida, but did you get the drinks that we sent you so that you could participate in today's podcast, bro?
I have a drink, but you didn't send anything. But it's gin and tonic. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Now, my understanding, before we get into the main topic, my understanding, kind sir, is that you know how to speak another language. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to put it to the test. I want you to say in your language, welcome to Peeps Creek, where you can drink, listen, and converse. Got it?
You know, that might be a little hard.
Why? You don't know your language for real?
I don't know how to say welcome.
I mean, you can say hello. It's the same thing, right? Basically.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to count down from 3. Okay. That means I'm going backwards. 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to try my best. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can't judge you because I don't know the language. 3, 2, and 1.
¿Cómo está everyone? Oh, I can't. I stopped. I'm bilingual now. I can't.
All right, wait.
English is like my first language now. I don't know. I forgot. I don't know some of the words anymore. I forgot because I've been speaking English for so long.
So you're really not bilingual, is what I understand.
I mean, you forget if you don't practice, right?
Are you bilingual or not, sir? That's the question.
I mean, I'm like, English is probably my primary language now. And then my Tagalog is like, it's lessening. It's starting to become like in the lower grade skill level.
Okay. All right. So anyhow, so Michel is down there in Clearwater, Florida. Let me ask this. When COVID was really popping off, you all in Florida felt like there was no such thing as COVID. Were you out there still like at the beach and at the clubs and all of that during the height of COVID-19?
I think there was a bad reputation from the media that people were going out and about because it's open and there's the beaches and it's warm weather. But personally, I work in the hospital, so I have to kind of watch out.
Oh, now you try to say it was fake news?
I mean,
because we saw video images of people out there.
It's just highlighted in some certain area, but a lot of people, I feel like in my work profession, we were all following.
Was it mandatory for you to get the vaccine?
Yes.
Smoke alarm because of the hookah. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Now, let me ask this question. If you were not required to take the COVID-19 vaccine, would you have taken it? You don't have to share if you don't want to. If you feel like it's personal, it's fine.
I made a personal choice that if the vaccine didn't work or I lost like a limb or an organ, I think it was for science.
Okay. So you were okay with it?
Yes.
So now, we met in Albuquerque. My understanding is that you came to Albuquerque from Kansas City. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. And is that Kansas City, Missouri or Kansas City, Kansas?
Kansas City, Kansas, the good side.
Okay. And why do you say it's the good side?
It was just a talk in town where everybody was like, if you're in Kansas City, Missouri, it's like not the good part, and we were in the good side, I guess. Just like
Oh,
roads, schooling, all of that kind of adds up.
okay. And what made you come to Albuquerque? I never really asked. What made y'all
Well,
come to Albuquerque?
my mom got married and met this guy in Kansas, and then um, after they got married, he had a job in Albuquerque, so he had to move there, and my mom also moved. But me, I
Oh,
stayed behind. But after a year or so, I followed them.
you were in school in Kansas, is that right?
Yes.
And what were you taking?
Initially, I was taking like science stuff, and then I got
Because
bored with it.
you thought you was gonna be a doctor.
Some in the medical field, which I'm in the medical field right now, a turnaround, and I just got bored with it. I just didn't like it. Um, just the repetition of like taking the classes, the science class and math class, and then just passing the exam, and that's it. It was just there was no creative outlet.
And so did you always have this sense that you were creative? Like you had to have a passion to
I I had to develop it on my own. Like it wasn't kind of like enforced or like given to me freely. I had to like hunt for it and look for it for myself.
how did you even know to look for it? Was it like,
Well, I mean, innately, I feel like I
come on,
was,
innately? Come on,
I
bruh,
just
with your
have,
vocabulary. Go ahead.
I have a thing about just like, making myself presentable to others and helping others. I see a lot of people like, hey, you can dress this way, you can put your hair this way. So it's kind of like even like a stylist, like branding. I feel I just see a lot of positivity for people that's lacking in those departments to kind of suggest. And
For people lacking in that department. So, in other words, people who can't dress or who you felt needed some style tips, you would just periodically reach out to them. Were they receptive of that? Like,
I
I mean,
mean,
give me an
I
example of how you would have
I
done
have
that.
to I have to befriend these people, and then they see that I'm kind of like on top of my styling or stylist, or I'm just stylish, and then they ask me opinion, and then I need to find a common ground that they trust me for me to give them my advice.
Okay, so did you switch from science to then
Yes.
a major of styling people? Like what?
Like fashion design.
Fashion design. Okay, so that means that you were making items or what?
Yeah, I learned the whole thing, like drawing, which I love doing, and making the clothes from sewing from scratch, like cutting it, and there's a lot of things that goes with it, from the development and the finished product,
So
and fitting
and you
to the
were making your own
models.
clothes, right?
Yes.
So when I met Michel, he was making clothes. He used to wear um, very skinny jeans. Actually, I think your jeans were beyond skinny. They were like paint on
Leggings.
jeans almost. Jagged. And so you also kind of had this like fashion show competition in school, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell the people about it, what your theme was,
Um, well, I was just trying to make something like wearable luxury kind of clothing, that's people able to spend. But I tried to put a lot of like details into it, like embroidery, piping, and and a little bit luxurious fabrics.
and
So
what's piping?
piping is someone that's like in between the seams. You put like a little, I think there's like a rope and a fabric, and you stitch them together. It just gives it a little bit of attention to details.
And it helps with the form of the item or what?
No, it's just literally on the seams. There is like a fabric, a rope and a fabric, and it just kind of outlines the seam. And it's just attention to details, practically, literally attention to details, like embroidery. You know what I mean? Personalization. It
And
kind of gives you an of like in the fashion world.
all right. So I remember and I don't even know where my jacket is. Actually, I remember you did make me a
Yeah.
tuxedo jacket. Do you remember
Yeah, I remember.
that brown tuxedo jacket?
Yeah,
Now,
but I think there was a piping in it too. Did you pay me for it?
yeah, I gave you like $50.
No, I don't think so. I think I gave it to you for your birthday, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's talk a little bit about something that's a little more sensitive. The topic, fade into black. Let me put it back up here. Part of the reason I did this was also because I know you, right? Um,
Do you really
so
know me that well?
nah, but I know you enough to know there are certain topics that are sensitive that you don't really like talk about, but you are being open up and willing to talk about sensitive topics, and so I felt like this was a good topic. All right, so we talked about the fact that you are from. Well, we didn't say you're from the Philippines, but you are from Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You moved to Kansas when you were what?
11 years old, I believe. 10,
Okay.
11.
And why did you come here? Did you come here for a vacation? What was going on?
Came here for my mom's job. She has like a specialty job.
Was there any conversation with you that you recall about whether or not you wanted to come here?
Well, my whole entire family started to come to America with this specialty job visa, and it was just trickling down to one by one, and asking my family members to come to America that it's a little bit better.
So you came here, you were 11, you went to Kansas, and you stayed in Kansas for what, 14, 15 years?
Yeah.
When did you find out that um, you didn't enjoy some of the same things that people who grew up here enjoyed?
Well, I guess, middle school when everyone's trying to get their driver's license permit,
Okay.
and I wanted to be part of it. Operating a vehicle was like a big task, and
Well, so
kind of
wait. How old were you? Because I didn't try to do anything with driving until high school.
like 14, 15, I believe. That's when you were able to get a driver's permit.
Wait, you were in middle school?
Yeah.
What, were you held back?
No.
Are you sure? Eighth
What?
grade, you had to have been 13 or 14.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do driver's ed to 15, which is in high school. Most middle schools don't have driver's ed. Did
Well,
you go
maybe
to a school that had both middle school and high school?
no. I guess maybe it's in freshman year.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Okay, so you're around 15. Let's just
Yes.
go with something a little more conservative here. You're about 15, and then you wanted to participate and get your license. And so what happened?
So just requirements of just identification from the DMV. I had to gather those information and ask my parents about it.
And so how did that conversation unfold?
Um, she tried her best to like give me the documentation, I believe, and I don't think it was like good enough. I was lacking some information, some documentation, and that's when I started digging up to documentation and to just obtain a driver's license.
When you started digging up information to obtain the driver's license, what did you ultimately find out?
It seems like there was some lacking, and then that's when I started finding out about like my immigration status and understanding about it, and there were some holes that I couldn't figure it out
Okay. And how,
from my age.
when you say mission documentation, was it lost or like,
I don't know. I guess just simple like um I don't know, just documentation like um social security, I guess. I think that's what they were asking, and like passport, and I don't know, like authorization that I was supposed to be here legally, something like that along the lines.
all right. And so at some point in time, did you find out that you were undocumented?
Yeah, I think it was more in like going to college.
All right. And how did that, first of all, let me ask this question before we talk about what, the hurdles and all that. How did you feel, or how did that impact you once you became aware of that?
I mean, I was definitely devastated because, I wanted to live a normal college life. I think that definitely hold me back a lot of just people are, doing this college thing and, doing the dorm and all that and working and able to afford it. Like I wasn't able to like work if I when I needed to, when I want to with the legal age. And then just I had to go through this whole documentation requirement in college, which was so annoying.
I understand that you had to go through it and it was a hassle, but did that make you feel at any point that you were less than?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I just couldn't fulfill the things that I want to do. I was taken back, and since I don't have enough documentation to present.
And so what did you do?
I mean, I asked like, my parents first off, and then they did help and asked a lawyer to explain it to me and things like that. And then that's when I found out more. And then I did my own little like research online. I mean, the World Wide Web is out there and it's kind of sort of self-explanatory if you just like, research on your own. So that's when I started researching. And even in college, that's when I started researching about like universities that's friendly to undocumented and able to get like, in-state tuition and all that. So, but still, I was like navigating through the admission office and, being weirded out and like silent and passing on the documentation. Those are very awkward moments for me.
And when you say silence, are you saying people were silencing you, or you felt like you didn't have a voice because you didn't
I,
have the necessary paperwork?
I just didn't want to talk about it. I feel like, I've been here and live here, and I'd never really talk about it. I never disclosed it. I feel like maybe I was embarrassed, but at the same time I wasn't. But I don't think it was necessary for me to like tell people.
Why now then? Why are you talking about it now?
Because you asked me to do this podcast.
Ultimately, you could have said no,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
You could have not showed up, right? And so do you feel that you're now a little more empowered to talk about it now, or does it still give you kind of anxiety or issues of talking about it?
I guess it's that time. It's due time that I just need to start talking about it and just release that feeling that I just need to share it to the world.
Okay. And so I mean, I can't pretend that I understand being in that situation. But how did that impact your relationship with your family? If at all. I mean, maybe it didn't, maybe it did.
It did impact my relationship with my mom because I felt like she just didn't take care of her kids' well-being growing up. I just felt like, from a person that's like highly educated, she should have like lots of backup plan if plan A, B, C didn't work out. You know, she's a medical doctor. I feel like she's smart, and bringing somebody to a different country without any backup plan if it didn't work out, I feel like it's very selfish as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And my relationship with my mother, I love her to death, but I'm just a little bit taken back about it. Like I just don't. It's still like a growing thing with me and my mom that we're just distant. I don't know if she knows about it, but I just have to act like this. Like I feel like what I said is like if you're a parent, you should know how to take care of your kids' well-being.
Am I hearing that you never really had the open conversation with your mom about how you feel?
I have. She's upset about it and she takes full responsibility, but she really can't do anything about it, It's
Mm-hmm.
off of her hands. And what I'm just upset is like I wish she should have a better plan. Like I said, plan A, B, and C.
How do you know she didn't have A, B, and C. And
because I
A, B.
found that on my.
Wait. So are you saying that you felt that she should have communicated and apprised you of your situation so that you could then prepare yourself to navigate through this world
Yes,
that you have to
yes,
operate under?
yes.
All right. So
You
is,
got it.
so is there a sense of resentment that you feel for her?
I mean, it might be a slight resentment, but I just like to keep my distance. It's my own truth, how I treat my mom. So,
And you have a brother.
yeah.
Have you ever talked to your brother about how you feel?
Yeah, definitely. We all share it. We have like my cousin, there's like four of us in the same situation.
Okay.
We all
And
decided our parents brought us here in America and for a better job, but the job that they were supposed to be passing, they were supposed to be able to move into like a green card holder and all of that. But those people didn't really pass because I understand it's hard.
so how do you feel about people who say, well, particularly for individuals who come here as children, right? I mean, the reality is that you didn't have a choice, right? If you didn't want to come here, it's not like you could have told your mom, "I'm staying in the Philippines," right? Because I'm assuming you couldn't do that. Is that accurate?
Well, to go back to it, I feel like she should have like had plans, and if anything, all of those falter here in America. I kind of wanted to go back home, and then figuring it out with the whole college thing and going through that, and then maybe coming back to America.
Coming here at 11, did you have this feeling? Or are you saying now, once you became of age where you understood the ramifications of how you came here, that you became a little more like she should have did X, Y, and Z so that I can then make a plan of going back?
I think it's the second one that you're describing is pretty accurate.
How do you feel about people who say, particularly when it comes to immigration, right, that you should get in line and you should wait your line? There's no reason that you should have any kind of special privilege as a person who came here as a kid who didn't have a choice to make the decision to come here. How do you feel about people who say that, like get in line, get in the immigration line and things of that nature?
I understand what they're saying. I believe that they're talking about just the law and following the law. I believe in that. But within the family unit, I feel like we should have had a conversation of how to go about it moving forward, the positivity about it. I feel like we just never had, as a family unit, had that conversation. It was just kind of like put aside and drawn out. And that's when I started, having issues like, going to college, driving, going to work. I wasn't able to work like maybe when I was like, I don't even know, my 20s, I believe. And I didn't, my parents were just like supporting me, and it's starting to get annoying. Like, I want to work, I want to make my own money. And like, fast forward to that, when I was able to get DACA, like I applied for it and worked my ass off because I just want to hustle and make my own money. But internally, like as a family unit, we never had that conversation of how to go about and tackle this issue. It was very silent, I was so annoyed and frustrated.
I do think there is value in having open conversations, right? But I also think there's value in pushing back and taking a different perspective. So I'm going to push back a little bit, not because I'm trying to devalue what you're saying. Your feelings are valued. Okay.
I'm hurt.
They're valid, but I do want to push back a little bit. So when you talk about, internally, you as a family unit, that you all didn't have these discussions, as smart as your mom may be, it's in the medical field. She's not a lawyer, right? And the immigration laws are so broken, right, that even a smart person, even lawyers, have difficulty navigating through the immigration process, right? So do you think it's fair to blame her for not having A, B, and C options for you when she's coming into an environment, she's not from America. She's coming into an environment where she is thriving professionally. She came here under a specialty visa. She brought her children here so that they can experience a different perspective and a different world, a different living arrangement. But not knowing how to navigate through the immigration system, is that her fault? I mean, have you thought about it from that regard as well, at all? And I want to make clear that I'm not trying to invalidate how you feel, because your feelings are valid. How you feel about the situation, definitely valid. I'm not trying to invalidate that. So I want to make that clear. But have you thought about that perspective, that it's just difficult to freaking navigate through?
I understand what you're saying, but I kind of see this in a different perspective where, as a parent in general, you want the best for your kids. And then you help them navigate different situations. As smart as my mom, I felt like she was thrown into this different culture, lack of resources, and just having insightful ideas of how to pass through this immigration. You know, I felt like I found out when I was doing my research, like, first I could go back home and study there and just live a life that was very sustainable and able for me to grow. And second, my extended family was here already and they've been here legally. They could have adopted us. We were in that legal age to be adopted. You know what I mean? And thirdly, like, I felt like as a family unit, we should have had a conversation with all of those options, what we were going to do, and then follow through with that plan.
But do you think that you would have been able to receive and understand those parameters, or, you know, those complicated issues at such a young age?
I feel like if we, as a family unit, how hard or less of an issue, if we all start talking about it, it will definitely make that individual person open and grow up, because they're going to need to decide. I felt like my family as a unit, they just sheltered us and then didn't give us a lot of information about immigration that it definitely carried through college and adulthood. And I feel like I got held back, you know? And that's just like my irritation with myself and my family. I feel like I'm freaking, you know, smart enough and very well-versed individual. And I mean, I could have been a fucking doctor if I was like in the Philippines. I feel like it. And amazing and cute one too.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So
I'm just saying, like, it's just a perspective. I don't know. It's the world out there, you know. I mean, I did it in high school. I mean, I got good, you know, GPA or so and things like that. I mean, I've taken all the classes as much as I can for pre-med, but, you know, I felt like I was held back, honestly, growing up in my immigration to have a well-deserving development in college and then adulthood. And I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. All right. And so let me give you a slight compliment.
Sure.
Because your head is already big. I will say that.
No, it's not. It's just confident.
Yeah.
Sean.
Okay.
Wow.
I will say that you've always, in spite of your situation, you always found ways to be positive for yourself, motivating for yourself, looking for other ways to not seem like you're always in the shadows, right? Back to the topic of fading into the black. Shadows are normally dark, and most people don't even think about their shadows, right? And a lot of folks who are undocumented, I know quite a few who are undocumented. Some folks come here because, you know, they come here because their parents bring them, right? Some people come here because if they stay where they are, more likely than not, they're not going to be here any longer, right? And so they decide to go into these, you know, tumultuous type of travels and have to pay people $15,000-$16,000 just to bring them here. Like I know people who literally work 3 to 4 jobs to not so that they can come here and like, go and look good and buy clothes so that they could pay the people who brought them here, right? Because they still owe folks, right? So
Yes.
I mean, I get it. I understand it.
That's crazy.
And so I first of all, I commend you for, despite your situation, always pushing forward. I also want to thank you for being open enough to share on this platform your situation. I know you don't talk about it, right? And you could have easily said, get the hell out of here, fuck off, right? Let's talk about something like Real Housewives or something, even though I don't watch it anymore. But you didn't. You chose to sit down into this particular sensitive topic. And so I just want to say thank you for doing that, because I think it's something that you shouldn't be ashamed of it, right? It is what it is. You had no choice in the situation at the time.
No, thank you. Just give me some money for this gig, please.
Yeah, I'll send you like $5 so you can get some ice for your gin and tonic. All right. Now,
Say what?
now what I do want to talk about this particular topic. I understand that your mom and your father, your stepdad, kind of have more of these conservative values. Would you agree?
Okay. Yeah, where are you going with this?
How does that make you feel though about the immigration, their views on immigration?
They just neglect, standoffish. They don't want to hear about it.
But how does that make you feel?
I mean, they're not helpful. Like it was, I just also wanted to let you know, like my stepdad is white. His personality is a little bit different. He just don't understand as well. But my mom was helpful as much as she can, but it wasn't enough. That's why I kind of sort of keep saying she was lacking in the parent department. You should know the well-being of your kids, top to bottom. You should always know what your kids' well-being.
Okay, so now you are a recipient of DACA. I recall when DACA first started, which was under Obama, in Albuquerque. And you was able to get an employment authorization. How did receiving that card make you feel?
I think I probably cried. I was just able to like jumpstart my life.
Yeah. And you've been able to continuously do that. The process of receiving that document initially, it made you feel a certain way, but do you feel some kind of way about it now?
I mean, politics wise, from my understanding, they don't want to tackle this whole immigration thing. It's been going on for so long about this DACA, the undocumented, to like, hey, there's millions of them. We need to do something about it. And from my understanding, it's just nothing is happening in Congress. There's no movement currently, and it's not it's not in their list to accomplish the Congress, GOP or Republicans or Democrat. I don't think it's in their list to tackle every year, unless something happened. If a president push it, or I don't know, like just some immigration catastrophe, like from the north and the south. I feel like if that happens, Congress will do something about it.
You have to renew every 2 years.
Yes.
That process eventually weighed down on you mentally.
I mean, I initially was on top of it, but I think this is my third time getting a DACA, and it just kind of just weigh on you. Just like, man, it's just the uncertainty of just like when you're status ends, you have to go through all of these steps, like, filing the form, paying like $500, and you kind of have to like also weigh with your work, like, hey, there's a lot of uncertainty of just like, hey, what if the paperwork didn't come in the right time, and then you're just like freaking out. Like, seriously, I hate the uncertainty of like able to receive the documentation back.
Yeah. Sitting here now in 2022, from the first time that you receive your DACA, do you feel a difference about your situation? Bad, good, or indifferent?
I guess it's like my mindset is like messing me up with going through the process. I feel like I'm getting tired of it, of applying every 2 years, and I'm trying to, accomplish like a 2 year goals, and I feel like I just have to have that uncertainty with the last 6 months of that 2 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just have to be a little bit better of like planning things, but I guess emotion do kicks in. I get it, but I do feel kind of sad sometimes in the last 6 months that I have to keep doing this again and again and again. It's just a repetition to just work, and that's kind of annoying me and messing me up mentally.
Yeah. So, if you were able to speak to every individual, whoever may hear this, look at this, or whatever, and they say, well, this guy just seems unappreciative of the fact that he can work, what would you say?
I don't know what they're talking about. Like, I feel like I work my butt off since I had my work authorization nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I'm not unappreciative about it. Like, I appreciate it like a lot, and I wish everybody has the same mindset as me. Like, if you're in that predicament, do as much as you can to grab as much goals as you can in that 2 years. And it's a cycle, like I keep saying and emphasizing, is it sucks in the last 6 months. You kind of have to hold on and do the whole application again. I mean, it's just a cycle, but at the same time, everyone reacts to it differently. I react to it a little bit differently, and I need to tackle that mindset to make it more positive.
I mean, but to be fair, you are entitled to your feelings. I mean,
Yeah.
you're the one who's going through it. It's not that you. I mean, the way I look at it is, I can't speak for you, but the way I look at it is not a level of being unappreciative. I think it's just the mental drain of the unknown. And I think you already said that you use uncertainty, right? There's always the fear of the unknown. What happens if this? What happens if X? What happens if my paperwork isn't viewed in time by, the people here? Like, what folks don't realize is that you are at the whim of other folks, right? It's not
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? It's not like you are trying to be on the radar, not pay your taxes, and trying to skimp through the system. But yeah, it's just a process. And so, I mean, I don't have any words of wisdom. I don't. I mean, I'm not in that situation. But what I can say is that you
Fight for
continue.
us, little people.
You
Use
should
your knowledge.
you should continue to keep your head up. A. B. You should stay motivated, and doing what you're doing, and just note that this too shall pass. I know it's been a long time.
It's not Biggie.
That's the Bible.
This too shall pass. I feel like that's JC or Biggie.
No, I feel like that's Black People Church, because that's where I get it.
I feel like it's one of those artists.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
So anyhow, I want to thank you for having this conversation. I know it's not something that you really want to talk about, but I appreciate you doing that. All right, so for those of you who out there are listening or looking, you can hit us up on Facebook. You can look at the video on Facebook at Peeps Creek Cafe. You can follow us, like us, share us on IG, Twitter, and Twitch at Peeps Creek is the title. On YouTube, it is Peeps Creek Podcast. You can go on our website. We have all the videos and the transcriptions and the audio and all that available there. You can go there. You can send us an email. Maybe you want to be on the show and you want to talk about any of the topics that we talk about. You can send us an email. We can do that. We can do it virtually, just like we're doing it right here. And all of the links to the audio, the video, social, and all that is available right there. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So once again, this is episode 59. Episode 59 is Fade into the Black. Michel, I want to thank you for allowing me to tell your story. I feel like I'm on Dateline or like NBC News or CBS. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being a open and just, you know,
admirable.
willing to have the conversation, right? Because at the end of the day, conversations matter, right? Conversations can move the needle. Conversations can get people to recognize differences, respect differences, understand differences, even if they may not ultimately agree with your opinion about it. But it's all about starting the conversation. So I appreciate you being there. Again, here at Peeps Creek, you know we always have that drink. Boom, boom, boom. Look at this. Ha! Nearly done this bourbon. Hold on, let me see. Nearly done. All right. And once again, Michel, where is your drink, kind sir? Boom. Almost done too. That gin and tonic. You want to say anything?
Mahal kita, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Boom. All right. Until next time, make sure that you continue to drink, listen, and